You are at a funeral. Rain on the roof. A lawyer opens an envelope with hands that don't shake. 5 words, 5 numbers, 500 million. You fold the paper like a secret. You listen to condolences and memorize faces. You walk out with pockets empty and a world that doesn't know you just inherited a small country's worth of money. You tell no one. You go home. You make ramen. You laugh at a dumb joke with a coworker who thinks you still have $2 in your wallet. You choose normal. It is your armor. It keeps the world easy and you invisible. You set a rule. Remain ordinary. Remain trusted. Remain unknown. You hide the headline behind a life that smells of laundry and takeout. Only your phone knows the numbers. The bank is a chamber you enter like a private prayer. Accounts bloom like cities in the quiet of an app. You are a ghost with a ledger. You decide to be rich without becoming a rich man. You will spend like thunder, but leave no footprints. Observe. This becomes your pastime. You watch friends finish sentences with dreams. You watch parents trade body language like currency. You watch a coworker wear exhaustion like a second suit. You keep your table at the same coffee shop. You sit where the light hits the window rim. You listen to the city hand over its secrets. You learn who asks for favors and who fakes laughter. You learn who notices when your shoes split and who doesn't. You learn the names of quiet needs. A neighbor's kid hustles shine socks at school. A barista studies at night. Your cousin calls, asking about rent. A voice that once had swagger now thin as paper. You map vulnerability like constellations. You begin to imagine decisions as levers. Which pull changes a life? Which pull saves a morning? You practice restraint. You call no one rich. You refuse the dialogue that comes with a bank statement. You build a habit. Help first, explain never. You give, not for the applause, not for control. Because you can. Anonymous checks, coded emails that route funds to tuition, to medical bills, to small businesses that need a season to breathe. You create a scholarship no one credits you for. You wire rent to a mother who used to babysit your cousin. You pay for a surgery for a stranger whose file you read on a volunteer list. You watch how money behaves when it has no identity. The kid with the shine socks wakes into a scholarship offer. The barista's night school tuition is cleared. Your cousin's rent is paid, her pride intact. You reroute hope like plumbing. You fix leaks. You plant anchors. No golden cards, no trophies. Just quiet, precise rescues. You watch how people become themselves when pressure is lifted. Some flourish, some squander. Most grieve less and breathe more. You learn the ugly truth. Money does not always buy gratitude. It buys change. Gratitude is a byproduct. Don't forget to subscribe my channel Fiery Grant. You also test loyalties. You stage small crises. You pretend you're strapped. You measure who stays when you have nothing. You fail a job interview on purpose. You borrow a few dollars and watch who offers lunch. You do this because truth needs proof and people are messy. You watch a friend refuse help, citing pride. You see a lover turn toward you with eyes that ask for what you cannot afford to give. You see a sibling whose calls shorten when they think you broke. You see an old friend arrive with steady hands when the world seems empty. You keep your face blank as you collect every reaction like cards on a table. One evening, someone tells you that money will ruin you. You note how often fear of wealth changes behavior more than wealth itself. You learn who loves your company and who loves the idea of you. You become a town's whispered miracle. People start speaking of an unknown savior, a forum thread, a thank you wall at your community center. Names are stitched to deeds, but not to you. You get a contact. A journalist with a clipped voice calls. She is asking small questions and her questions have teeth. She finds patterns. She draws lines between transfers, notarized letters, and the sudden absence of debt for strangers you helped. You watch from the booth at your coffee shop as her byline grows like a trail of breadcrumbs. She is kind but relentless. She is the kind of person who does not like mysteries without explanations. She visits foundations. She interviews recipients. She follows small ledgers as if they were maps to a treasure. You feel the net tighten. You have friends who say reveal it. People who suspect rain when clouds gather. You have enemies who smell blood at the scent of secrets. Law wants to know where all that money came from. Pundits want a figure to vilify. You keep doing what you always did. Fix a problem, slip away. But the reporter is not satisfied with breadcrumbs. The journalist finds a thread that leads to a shell company. She files FOIA requests. She quietly questions a notary. She is hours from a headline that says, "Anonymous benefactor unmasked." You cannot let everything turn into spectacle. You cannot let lives you touched become evidence on the front page. You plan contingencies. Offshore transfers scrubbed, trusts rearranged like defense lines, legal mosaics built to protect the people you helped. But there is a fight within you louder than any civil suit. If she publishes, the world will change. Your neighbor's life may become a story. Your cousin's relief may be stripped naked and sold. If you step forward, you will expose yourself to predators, claims, lawsuits, people who will slander your name to mine your wealth. You will also become honest with your friends. You will take the applause and the blame. If you remain hidden, you will keep freedom to move as a ghost, to fix things quietly, to choose who benefits without a committee's consent. But anonymity has a cost. It isolates you from the warmth of being acknowledged. It makes love more complicated. It makes trust a test rather than a handshake. You stand in a rooftop rain. The city below pulses with lives you have nudged. You hear the reporter's call. She leaves a message. "I have enough to publish. Call me back." Your thumb hovers over the screen. You weigh the ledger inside your chest. You picture the faces you saved. You picture those you pushed away by pretending to be broke. You picture the reporter, fierce and human, who chases truth because truth matters to her. You consider doing a controlled reveal. You imagine a speech, a confession with rules, a plan to keep people safe while letting light in. You imagine lawsuits, cameras at the door, headlines that ask whether anonymity was cowardice or genius. You imagine your father in a memory, telling you to be brave. You imagine your mother smiling if she knew pride in you did not rely on applause. You think of the neighbor's kid getting into college without a headline. You think of the barista's diploma, unphotographed. You call the reporter. You do not tell her everything. You offer her an interview with conditions. No names, no addresses, no bank details. You want the story to be about what money can do when wielded without ego. She hesitates. Ethics are her backbone. She negotiates. You present her with data about the programs you funded, impact reports, signatures removed. You hand her proof of lives changed without spectacle. She looks at you through the glass of your chosen anonymity and sees only honesty and a tired man who has been giving for a while. You walk away from the coffee shop and let the city absorb a small truth. Someone out there chose to help. The story runs, not an exposé, but a portrait. It is a portrait of an anonymous benefactor who refused recognition and chose to distribute power quietly. It is a story that asks an audience, what would you do if you could change lives without the world watching? You watch as some people cheer. Some call for regulation. Some ask, why not reveal the identity to make it bigger? Some thank you on street corners with tears you will never see. Your phone rings with offers, partnerships, please, and threats. Lawyers with good shoes call. So do an endless parade of people who now believe miracles are possible. You have chosen a middle ground. Partial, reveal. The world knows there is a fund. The world does not know your name. You create a foundation with a face that is an idea. You appoint a board. You add transparency measures that keep beneficiaries safe. You set boundaries. You refuse headline hunger. You start meeting people legitimately. You let a few close friends into the loop. Those who passed your quiet tests, not because they needed your money, but because they wanted to be in your corner. You fall in love. It is complicated because love must contend with past secrets. Kindly subscribe to my channel.